We got Maurizio in the building.
¿Qué onda?
And we got
¿Qué onda?
Enzo in the building
Wait.
tonight as well.
Why you say it like that? If
¿Qué
you're
onda?
supposed to say it Italian way. If you say
Say it however I want to, alright?
Enzo.
Say it how I want to.
Don't say that.
However I want to. However,
We got Byron in the house.
as always.
But we got
It's
one
good.
And
one
we got,
missing soul today.
we got one of the Mrs. Stooges.
Stooges.
For real.
No Manny today.
Had emergency. Had to take care of. And it's a pretty weird. It's a pretty eventful day for me. It's kind of.
What we're going to do today is lighten Enzo up because he's feeling a little down. You know, his line is mine. So we're going to put more in his mind so he can give us his thoughts about what we're
I
going to
don't
tell
really
him.
like, it's just interesting because did you guys hear that Jack Dorsey stepped down from his position on Twitter?
He was the CEO, yeah. Now he's no longer the CEO of Twitter.
You know why?
Why?
To focus on Bitcoin and digital currency. And I'm sure he's going to focus on metaverse and all that stuff. And it's interesting because after he leaves, Twitter has a new policy for posting pictures and videos. Mauricio, do you know exactly what this policy is entails?
Basically, you have to get the person's permission before you post it. That's the most basic way I could put it off the bat. Is that, let's say I'm going to post a picture of Byron.
So they have an algorithm that's going to know that it's not that you did not get permission.
That's what it seems like.
But why is this a big deal?
Well, because it totally changes the game on what you get to post on social
Because
media.
you had a reaction on the group chat. I don't understand your reaction. What was that? I mean,
I said it's wild because just think about it. Like, it just changes everything now as far as the way how you post and interact on, especially on Twitter. Twitter is where we see a lot of like breaking news happening. You see a lot of different thing. Just Twitter is just, it's almost like any other platform. You get news from there, and people get their news from there, whether it be from an official news network or a page they follow. That's what I believe right there. That's kind of like the wild aspect for me, So basically it's saying that Twitter will take down pictures of people posted without their permission. Let me see. And it's aimed at improving privacy, sparks concern over misuse. Twitter will no longer let its users, this is on npr.org, Twitter will no longer let its users publish private videos or images of other people without their consent in a new policy expansion meant to prevent harassment and abuse on its platform. Twitter said in a blog post on Tuesday, sharing personal media such as images or videos can potentially violate a person's privacy and may lead to emotional or physical harm. They continue to say the misuse of private media can affect everyone, but can have a disproportionate effect on women, activists, dissidents, and members of minority communities. Twitter says that before it considers the removal of video or images, it will review such media only after the person who is depicted in the content without their permission or a representative for them has notified the company. So they're not going to exactly have an algorithm there, but it's like it's on a report basis. So if Byron reports me for what I posted, because it has his privacy.
But what if somebody doesn't even have a Twitter and they don't even know they've been posted?
Well, it says or a representative of them. So if someone else knows, and someone can say, "Hey, this was posted without this person's permission," they'll look into it and take down the post.
So like, let's say you have a Twitter and then I don't have a Twitter, but Enzo sees a picture of me, he could report you.
Yeah, and say that this picture was posted without Byron's permission, without his consent. He is unaware that this is on Twitter.
It's not a big deal, but I guess
it's not as big as a deal as we thought, because we thought that it maybe was like an algorithm. They have gotten to that point.
But what is a big deal is how the FBI is collecting the most data from iMessage, WhatsApp, while Telegram and Signal provide much less to the FBI. Isn't that interesting?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people, they like to use Telegram for that reason, is because it's more encrypted compared to WhatsApp and other places and other messaging platforms like iMessage as well. Telegram, I heard about it like a couple years ago, and it looks exactly like WhatsApp to me. You can do the exact same things on there. It's just not owned by Facebook.
Interesting. It's a crazy ass FBI doing that shit. I mean, it was a given though.
Yeah.
I'm sure they go through your stuff on Facebook too and Instagram and all that. But
So was Jack Dorsey was also the CEO of Square?
yeah.
So they're saying, or now it's gonna be changed. It's gonna be called Block now, effective December 10th. The move comes as Square expands beyond its original credit card reader business with a focus on new technology such as blockchain, like you said.
I was
Enzo.
about to say that.
That's
bro.
crazy. Because I was just looking. I just wanted to look up his name and
Well, that's
more.
the future, bro. The blockchain. If you don't have any type of, well, they're saying the technocrats are saying that if you don't have any form of, not any form of blockchain, but any part of what a blockchain consists of, or anything that is like a variant of it, or everything that's related to it, you are missing out on the next gold mine, next gold rush. So
Yeah, he co-founded Square in 2009 with a focus on.
can you break down what a blockchain is for our listeners and our viewers? Because people might just hear that word a lot, and the digital currency and all this stuff. And
Well,
I don't even
this
know
is
what
not
the
off
hell-
of my knowledge, guys, because I'm not gonna act like I know it. I just googled it right now. And
right,
it says
exactly.
a blockchain is essentially a digital ledger of transactions that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer systems on the blockchain. Blockchain is a type of DLT in which transactions are recorded with an immutable cryptographic signature called a hash.
That is a lot of English that I do not understand.
Exactly.
But that's what the future is going towards.
Right here, this is another thing that it says, what is blockchain used for? A blockchain is a decentralized, distributed, and oftentimes public digital ledger, as the other place said,
Basically, how
consisting of records.
it's like a book thing where if I send Mauricio some money through a digital currency, that's keeping track of it, but they can't. It's decentralized, so the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank, is not going to be aware of that transaction because it's decentralized.
It says here, a Bitcoin block contains information about the sender, receiver, number of Bitcoins, and the number of Bitcoins to be transferred. So it's basically, yeah, like we're saying, the transaction between.
It's like it's keeping track.
Yeah.
And
The first
Like a
block
database?
in the chain is called the Genesis block.
it's a concept. It's a very intricate concept that a lot of people really haven't grasped yet. That's why I don't think it's that big. I mean, it's huge now, but I don't think it's as massive as it should be because it's very intricate. It's a lot of parts to it. If you don't understand, it's like you're speaking a lot of new English that a lot of people don't know. Like I'm still having trouble understanding a lot of the crypto and, even, trading and, so much stuff that, there's opportunities out there, but if you don't have the education and the knowledge, you won't be able to, benefit from these new horizons that are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, NFTs, all these things.
Yeah, bro, like it's
coming in.
wild, man. I don't even know. I just heard that they tried to block Kylie Jenner from buying an NFT because they don't want her to get richer.
It's crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But anywho, what we got for the tides today, bro?
The tides. Disrespectful. Well, to start off, the waves, man. The waves. That's what we really want to call it.
Tides.
That's what we really want to call it, bro. These are waves.
This is a massive wave from one you about to give me right now. I ain't even know. Can you give me a video? Did this really happen? How did this happen? Were people hurt? Or was it a test?
So what Enzo is referring to
Was it
is
a
a World War II bomb that went off at a train station in Munich. So let me see if I can find something on YouTube real quick.
How the hell did they have a...
I mean, there's still landmines in, like, I think, what is it? Where was it? In Vietnam?
Every member of my family fights this fight.
So I'm not too surprised that is what it is,
A
Cool.
landmine that's a nuclear weapon, though?
Yeah, that one's a little crazy.
In Germany
Two
too.
aircraft bomb exploded at a bridge near Munich's busy main train station on Wednesday. Officials confirmed 4 people were injured, one of them seriously. Police said the explosion happened as the site was being drilled to build a tunnel. Local reports described a loud bang followed by a column of smoke, and an excavator was overturned by the force of the blast. Unexploded wartime bombs are frequently found in Germany and prompt big evacuations, but most are defused by experts without exploding. More than 2,000 tons of live bombs and munitions are discovered each year in Germany, more than 70 years after the end of World War II. Big construction projects in the center of Munich usually take considerable care in checking wartime ordnance. Valerie Brown, The Sun.
And that's what happened today in Munich, Germany. Another news. I don't hate to sound like that. I hate to sound like that. Another news. But you know,
Donald Trump is a textbook narcissist.
I want to ask you guys, when you guys were in high school.
Today, we've learned that the depths of his selfishness and disregard for others were even deeper than previously known. According to an upcoming book by none other than Trump's own White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, then President Trump initially tested positive for COVID on September 26th of last year. That is nearly a week before he publicly disclosed his condition. According to Meadows, Trump subsequently tested negative on the 26th, right after the positive result, so they decided to dismiss the positive result as a mistake. Okay, we got one negative, we got one positive. Just wing it, I guess. Did the leader of the free world, the responsible thing, did he quarantine out of abundance of caution? Did he use the amazing resources of the most powerful government on earth to just like suss out what was really the case? Was he positive or negative? No, of course not.
These two guys are
Here's everything Donald Trump did do shortly before and after he tested positive for a highly contagious virus. Before life,
it depended on the people fighting, and that it usually would go that way.
On the day of the 26th,
I would promote it as body shots, but I knew someone was going to
celebration for his new Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. It's a big pro-life party in there, inside and without masks or social distancing. See Chris Christie in the background of that photo? He's going to be in the ICU pretty soon.
Exactly, but a frat.
Trump, who was in the middle of a heated campaign season, then tested positive after that event. Okay, now just put yourself in the situation of doing that. You just saw some friends and you test positive. Probably reach out and let them know that you just tested positive for COVID. That does not appear to have happened. So he tests positive for that event. It's before a scheduled rally in Pennsylvania, a rally which, as you can see from the footage we are showing, he did not cancel.
Dies following a
the next day, get this, it gets better. September 27th, Trump meets with Gold Star families at the White House. Those, of course, families of fallen soldiers, surviving members of U.S. surviving family members of U.S. service members who have given their life and who are mourning their deaths. And he meets with them having tested positive, again, without masks or social distancing. Look how close they are. The day after that, September 28th, Trump held 2 outdoor events, one of which, ironically, was on the subject of COVID testing. Now, that event struck people as pretty odd at the time. Look at that visual. Trump spoke notably distanced from the other attendees. Have you ever seen Mike Pence stand that far away from the guy? Seriously. At the event, Trump made this crack to then COVID testing czar.
The other person.
I would like to ask Admiral Girard to come up and demonstrate how these tests are performed. He'll do this very nicely, I think. Good luck. Hope you don't test positive.
Yeah.
A joke, but not really. Practically Trump's entire inner circle eventually tested positive for the virus, including Chris Christie, who was hospitalized at a serious case, who got very, very good medical care, which is good for him, and I'm glad he did. That wasn't true for everyone who got the virus and died.
They probably had to go through.
Christie says that Trump actually called him while he was in the hospital.
But like some sort of.
Then he said to me, "How do you think you got it?" Now I've been in a room with him for 4 days before that. There were 7 of us, and 6 of us had gotten it. So I'm like, "Well, pretty sure I got it in the White House, Mr. President." I think so. And he said, "Yeah, you know, sure." He goes, "But you're not going to say you got it from me, are you?"
Yeah,
that's what was on Donald Trump's mind. Knowing he had tested positive just days before, Trump still traveled to Ohio to be in the room for the first debate with then-candidate Joe Biden. We later learned Trump was not tested before that in-person event without masks.
You said that.
With the septuagenarian on the stage, who was also his opponent, who could have gotten COVID and died.
They're going to do by 2030.
That was happening a lot.
And that thing is crazy, bro.
It's been happening a lot. 70-plus-year-old unvaccinated people, as Joe Biden was at that meeting. And in his book, Mark Meadows now admits Trump had been looking physically unwell.
Another nuclear war.
Over the next 2 days, September 30th and October 1st, Trump held multiple campaign events and fundraisers in multiple states, including a fundraiser in New Jersey, where Trump spoke maskless to about 200 also maskless supporters. That night, the world first learned Trump's close aide, Hope Hicks, tested positive.
Stuff like that.
Trump himself then got a second positive test shortly after.
Was it the Geneva plan?
Something he lied about in an interview with Sean Hannity.
Trump didn't want to be a part of that. Also was
so whether we quarantine or whether we have it, I don't know. You know, it's very hard. When you're with soldiers, when you're with airmen, when you're with the Marines, and I'm with and the police officers, I'm with them so much. And when they come over to you, it's very hard to say, stay back, stay back. You know, it's a tough kind of a situation. It's a terrible thing.
I don't doubt it, but it's just like
I just went for a test, and we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows?
Time where we're seeing like
he knew at that point he had tested positive a second time. He knew he had tested positive before he did the event with the soldiers and the airmen and Marines, and the implication of that is that he got COVID from the COVID-infested service members who just couldn't stop themselves from hugging the president.
Like this new Omnicorn thing.
Trump found out he tested positive on 26th of September, again, right before that interview.
You know what I always say to people?
Hannity he did not know if he had
pull up a meme for me?
He also took the time to blame the military and police for potentially getting him sick.
Last year,
Trump was hospitalized shortly after that, only to recover, thanks in part to the state-of-the-art treatments and care he had access to as a president. That was not made available to the hundreds of thousands of Americans who died horrible deaths under his watch.
Miami,
and we should note that Trump has called the fact that he tested positive before the debate fake news.
The British
of course he has. And I guess all this is not really surprising,
now they become variants.
Enraging.
It's like after the Loki series when they
the man is incapable at an almost cellular
like
level.
Variants all over
it's extraordinary of ever considering anyone else's
chill out,
welfare.
Marvel.
I'm telling you, not even that. Metaverse, universe,
first positive test, he walked to the back of Air Force One.
Everything has
pretty tight quarters without a mask and talked to reporters. At least one of whom then subsequently tested positive himself days later.
And it's like right when
that reporter's take on this revelation next.
It's like it's also they're requiring vaccines for kids. This new variant is targeting kids within the same age. And then today, someone in California gets that new variant for the first time. Like, how are they even able to really tell?
Well, bro,
they ain't a white guy.
Spoiler alert. There's going to be another variant.
You know?
Shop Dick's Sporting Goods now for holiday gifts. Get the best brands in outerwear like the North Face, Patagonia, Columbia, and more. Complete the look with boots from Sorel, Doc Martens, and more. Outerwear, boots, and accessories in-store or online. Pick up curbside or ship to home. Every holiday starts at Dick's.
LeBron James
battling with COVID. Anthony Davis. It was funny because they
had the flu like 2 weeks ago.
They asked Frank Vogel about.
We find out he had COVID. Mark Meadows knew he had COVID.
Anthony Davis came on next, and then he was like,
COVID. They went into the debate knowing he had tested positive.
So
for COVID,
and it's funny because on the radio, whenever the whole thing came out about
in danger, and I, for the life of me, I didn't understand it on election on debate night.
We just have to
don't understand it now. I have no idea why they allowed that guy to bluster his way in without giving him a test. Right. So what Mark Meadows, the chief of staff, who's obviously in the news right now for his upcoming deposition, writes in a new book that The Guardian has an excerpt of, published just an hour or so ago, that President Trump had tested positive for COVID several days prior for that first debate, meaning that he attended a couple of rallies, including one in Minnesota. We knew that he cut it short. He seemed like he was on the told him not to go. Right, and then he went anyway. Knowing he had COVID. And apparently, the book reveals that he went to a previous rally a couple days prior and had tested positive for that as well, and came back on Air Force One to speak to reporters. And we know at least one member of the press pool on the plane contracted coronavirus around that same time. It certainly seems likely it was from the President of the United States. And then he went to the first general election debate against Joe Biden. There were all these health and safety protocols put in place, but testing was sort of done on the honor system. And the Trump team blew in late and said, we don't have time to be tested. So he wasn't, even though the Biden had a candidate and his team were tested. Let's also remember, in the audience that day, the Trump family, none of them wore masks, despite the fact they were required to do so. The Biden family all wore masks.
Bro, that happened in hours, bro.
And it was after, only
for some reason, it was so evasive to him that they have to give power to.
Yeah, but she said that you only saw her after for a few hours.
So this chronology is right. It's from the former chief of staff, so we certainly have no reason to doubt it. This is explosive and extraordinarily irresponsible.
They're just punks. They're just punks who don't care
about anybody but themselves, and we know that's always been the case. But this highlights it even at the highest level, even on the biggest stage internationally, they're behaving this way. And again, I would love to know.
You know, we just had that Rittenhouse kid get let off, and then the dude runs over the grannies and stuff. Hey, bro, I told you they were all white people.
All of them.
They were all white people, bro.
All of them.
Yes. They call him the 40 granny cheerleading grannies, and he ran over 5 of them, all white.
Damn.
But so the people he ran over were white.
Yes.
But there were other people there that we don't know of their racial origins and whatnot.
Well, the demographic of the city, bro, is white.
What?
Wisconsin?
Come on, bro. It's Wisconsin. It's like
somewhere out in Wisconsin.
That's why they do a census every couple years, bro.
Huh. Bruh.
And they ask you what's your ethnicity.
Bruh.
And then, but, you know, coming from the K-Dot era, I tell them, fuck your ethnicity.
Fuck your ethnicity. This one.
Dun, dun, dun. If you don't give a fuck, whatever.
But bringing it back to this Old Spice thing.
Nah, bro.
You were posting about this, Enzo, and you're talking about how you're all natural.
Well, I use natural deodorant, but my body wash is Old Spice, and that shit had it in it.
Ooh, we have to get you on that Sweet Surrender, sir.
Oh.
Well, does she have like lather foams type
We shall find out.
But yeah, and
some Old Spice and secret deodorants recalled after cancer-causing chemicals are detected.
From Procter & Gamble.
Procter & Gamble.
But it's interesting. So, what else we got, bro?
I mean, if you guys are out there and you have that in your bathroom, you better go look at that. There's a lot of them in there. So if you go to CNN Business, it'll give you a long list of different Old Spice products that might have it in there, or that do have it in there. Better said.
So you're saying don't use Old Spice?
Hey man, it's to your discretion, man. We're telling you what it has in there: cancer-causing chemicals. If you want to use it, you know it's America. Just know it's being recalled by the manufacturer, like you said, Procter & Gamble. This very gay. Wee.
This very gay.
This very gay. So, did you guys see the video of this like people having some wings in Sherman Oaks, and then they're approached by someone with a gun?
Oh yeah, and they got robbed.
Bro, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Bro, there's somebody in
Sherman Oaks,
South Central or Compton got killed in front of his family buying tacos. And then those people that did that got caught already. And then there's a lady in Hancock Park opening her gate, and she gets robbed with her kids.
With her stroller. She had a baby in her stroller. Yeah, that was dirty.
And then there's an Armenian guy in Glendale got followed home, and then they beat him up in his driveway. You know, it's crazy because in Philly also there's some guys that are crying, screaming, I don't want to die after the Asian. He was an Asian victim shot and fired at him, at 2 assailants that were trying to rob him when he got home from work. So honestly, and then to make matters worse, my shop got, what would I call that, bro?
I would say that was an attempted
burglary.
Burglary, yeah.
Stole my fucking camera for no reason. And it's just weird, bro.
Wait, they stole it?
Bro, it's gone, bro. And he just walked in and put it in his car and left and drive off. And it's like, bro, my neighbors got you on camera, bro.
For real.
How fucking stupid are you?
Well,
but it just makes me feel like I need to get a gun, bro. Fucking ASAP. And I need to be patrolling my own shop on a regular. I don't care if my girl gets mad. I'm meant to do that.
How many times did you say that happened to you already?
This is the second time, bro.
Yeah, man. This is happening more frequent. I saw that a Home Depot also got stolen. They got robbed for like a bunch of like heavy duty equipment, like tools and stuff, to commit further robberies. So this is a big thing that's going on right now throughout Southern California, and I'm pretty sure throughout the country. But more so or less, I'm hearing that it's happening here in like LA County also because of something that passed in the last couple of years, where it's like, these like little these what you would call petty theft or things like this. They're not even petty theft because they're it's armed most of the time. but they're getting slapped on the wrist. Usually they'll be out the next day or things like that, especially if like, you know, they don't longer have a weapon on them or something like that. And it's like, if someone can even trespass your property, bro, and they'll be out within the next 24 hours, which is pretty crazy.
The liberal left controlling this
like
state.
you can't like basically the cops and the law says you can't prove their intent that they were actually trying to burglarize your house or they were trying to bring harm, even though they, you know, they trespass. And it's like, you know, that's crazy to think, because it's like once especially if you have a fence or something and someone barges that fence or gets over that, like they're where they're not supposed to be. And you as a homeowner and whatnot, you should be able to protect yourself and your family. And let's say you shoot this person and for like, I hate to say it, but you don't kill them, you could be facing charges yourself.
Shoot him in the leg.
No, I'm saying if you shoot him in the leg, you could be facing charges.
So you might as well kill him.
It's sad to say, but in most cases,
in
it's
California,
like, you know. But I do know that like there's also like some rules where it's like if you have a firearm, you have to like give a warning shot.
Yeah, you're supposed to say, warning shot. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah, or like Dave Chappelle says, buckshot. Says he has his shotgun has buckshot, which is like doesn't really kill them. It just like injures them. But then he has an actual like live 12 gauge shot. So it's like buckshot, live round, buckshot, and then it's just live rounds after that. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. So I think it's like a couple of warning shots, and then, you know, you've been warned.
I just analyzed something. Wasn't crime rate down last year a little bit in a sense, because everything was like, I guess, closed?
Yeah, for the most part it was.
Yeah, but then you remember last year they let out a lot of inmates out because of COVID.
Oh yeah, true.
It's about 77,000 that they let out. That some of them they just came back with más mañas. But another tragic news, according to the same shit.
Yeah, here in Beverly Hills as well.
Fucking high. I would say elite, part of the elite people in Hollywood in the music industry. Clarence Avant's wife was shot in a home invasion robbery. It's a lot of
home invasion, yeah.
Gun violence going on.
Oh yeah, and then about that that shooting that happened in, I forgot what state, in a high school.
Oh yeah,
Michigan. Oh, a middle school or something.
Michigan high school. I mean, just the fact that the kids are like, he said bro, and that was like red flag, and they all hopped out of the window and shit.
Yeah, because, well, basically what's going on is that the shooter is going around knocking on the classroom doors.
Trying to get people to come out.
Yeah, and then the person's saying, I'm not taking that risk, and then the person's trying to tell him, well, something bro. And then they're like, oh, that's a red flag. Like, don't open the door. And then I think they hear gunshots or something, because it kind of almost sounds like that. And then they all start running out the window. They get to the next building. There's an officer there waiting for them. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I've heard that there, like, when I used to go to school, there was a certain code that I'm not gonna say because I don't think I should put it out there like that. But there's a code that they told us that it's like when we're under this like code, if you will, you're not supposed to open the doors for no reason. Like no reason at all. And once we're like that code is cleared, like we're all cleared, then but like as long as that's something I remember back in high school. We were not open. We would do drills on purpose, and there would be administrators walking around like just testing, classrooms to see if they would open while we were under those drills. So
but who do they give the power to open the door?
You're not until they give an all clear code. We're not supposed to open doors at all. Like nothing at all.
So then, how are they testing y'all?
Because they would. All right. So there would be a drill that day, right? We're gonna go under this drill. So during this time, we're going through this drill, and during that same time, they would do rounds. So the administrators would go knocking on doors, and the point was to not open the doors. Some teachers would forget we're underneath the drill.
Are you serious?
And open the door, and it'd be like, really? Yeah, it would happen.
Were you ever in a class where they opened the door?
Yeah, I remember that happened one time.
And what did they do to the teacher?
Well, not like they got fired or anything like that, but they had been.
I would have fired it.
Reminded and whatnot. It's like, come on, yeah.
And what was his excuse? Mauricio was being stupid today. That's why I fucking forgot.
It could have been a different student, but I don't think it would be me. But yeah.
Oh man.
And then in that story, I think there was like three kids
that were killed
and 8 were wounded.
Yeah.
Well, now they're saying that it was one more that died, so it's 4 kids that died out of that.
Yeah. So man,
you know what's crazy too? Another thing that's sad that Travis Scott trying to pay for that young boy's funeral, and they said nah.
They like refused.
They refused the donation for the funeral costs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not justifying anything, but it's just like it's also just tough in those moments. It's like that even if you're paying for those, it's like it doesn't bring it back, and people are just hurt right now. It's a lot of pain to go through.
Some bullshit, bruh.
Yeah.
Hey, what about this guy that's making rounds on the internet? You think this guy from Detroit's really helping people?
Who?
The Dust Unit. Just put Dust Unit on YouTube. Go down. Down. Actually, go back up and then put a dot between each like when you spell out dust.
What?
Make it an acronym. So D.U. Yeah. Ready? Same shit came up?
Yeah, bro. Tripping.
All right.
It's a bunch of vacuum shit.
Put Detroit.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This person is clearly intoxicated.
Put Detroit Task Unit. Detroit Survival Unit. All right, so go down.
You talking about this guy?
Yeah, go down. You think this shit will really help us?
I don't know, bro.
These crime street.
A lot of them, it's like
pick the Vice one.
I like this shit because it's like a lot of them they make fun of him. It's like as soon as you make a move, it's like you're already shot and dead, like in heaven and stuff or whatever.
So you think I should take this class, bro?
Definitely not. I mean, you can take it, but is it gonna help? I don't know.
This is the purpose of our organization.
Put it this way, bro. Let's try it out. I'll get like a paintball gun, and if you get shot, bro, it means you're not gonna make it. That makes sense? Or not? It doesn't make sense.
You could actually kill me with a Nerf gun inside of my head.
Psychologically impressive. So when they see how you're dressed, they think
Manny's texting on the
because you are serious.
On the group chat, and he's saying that his class is bullshit.
Hey man, Manny, who's to say, bro? If you've been in that situation and used these
Manny should have showed up.
Yeah,
Manny should have showed up.
We don't validate these YouTube comments unless you're here, brother. Sorry, just kidding.
He said, "Fuck y'all then." Yo, why does he look like my dad though?
I don't know about that.
Like his cousin.
But yeah, that's I don't know about that so far. But yeah, this guy gets a lot of memes made in his honor on social media. What do you think about these reproducing robots though, yo, bro? Like this is like
the Matrix,
Terminator stuff coming.
Nah, bro,
Matrix, Terminator, whatever you want to call it. Point is, they taking over.
Point is, I need a robotic. Badass. I'm just kidding.
You need a robotic what?
Bro, you know what I said, bro.
Schlong.
Whoa.
Pause.
Wang.
Pause.
Ying.
Yang.
Blang.
World's first living robots can now reproduce. That is crazy shit, bro.
What kind of robots are they? Some reproducing robots?
Some xenobots.
I mean, that's crazy how they give them that name.
Formed from stem cells of the African clawed frog, Xenopus laevis, from which it takes its name. Xenobots are less than a millimeter wide. The tiny blobs were unveiled in 2020 after experiments showed that they could move, work together in groups, and self-heal. Now the scientists have developed them at University of Vermont, Tufts University, and Harvard University Wyss Institute for Biological Inspired Engineering said that they have discovered an entirely new form of biological reproduction different from any animal or plant known to science. That's crazy.
My question is why, man? Why would you even do that?
That's crazy. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why.
Why even do that experiment? iRobot.
Like you said, the Matrix, bro. I mean, it's all this stuff, bro. I mean,
all into one.
You know, we're talking about the metaverse earlier. I was seeing how you can start buying property within the metaverse. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, it kind of makes sense because people are going to be in this and you're going to own the property they're going to go into. And it's just like, it's literally going to be its own universe. That's ridiculous. And I was talking to someone about it, actually my pastor, and he was just saying, like, you know, there's going to be a point where people are going to be working within the metaverse and they're not going to want to be working in real life. It's like they're going to be stuck in that thing.
Well, I was going to say, it's kind of like Ready Player One, where in Ready Player One, the reality looks like slums. And then when you get to the virtual world, it looks beautiful and it's like immaculate and you have avatars and it looks better than the real world, right? So it's just interesting how, yeah, bro, it's going to be, I feel like it's, I mean, just look at the generation now. There's kids that rather be playing Fortnite or Call of Duty than playing outside and really enjoying the nature and getting their hands dirty and shit.
Yeah, I remember growing up playing with Legos. I don't see Legos anymore.
For real. What do you think, Mauricio?
I think they're taking over. These robots, bro. At some point, look, all right, let's put it this way, bro. We have robots that can now self-produce, they can reproduce, right? Mm-hmm. We have AI that is learning everything about us. What was the Avengers 2 about? Putting those two things together and then you get Ultron.
I mean, this is why I'm telling you, all this shit that we've been watching for the last 20 years has just been conditioning us to get ready for what's gonna come.
Seriously, bro, because it's like...
And like, bro, have I not been telling you this, Mauricio, since I was in fucking high school, bro?
I mean, regarding that statement, yeah, but regarding these robots, maybe not. But bro, regarding that statement about like everything that we're seeing is like...
It was, I mean...
Like basically what you had told me back then is that these movies are like a glimpse into what we will see.
Exactly.
But like about these robots reproducing,
bro. You know why I would say yes? Because I was saying I'm a big fan of Terminator, and I'm a big fan of The Matrix.
But when it comes to Terminator, I always felt like,
and to me,
like this whole thing about them reproducing is crazy to me. My whole thing when
it was a given
Terminator,
to me.
It's more like, you know, it was a machine created, like kind of how we said with Avengers. It was a machine that was already created, a robot.
You know what?
And then they gave it the AI capabilities.
But all right, but check this out. That's the 80s stuff, right? By the time I'm already coming into, like, I would say the quote-unquote wokeness era or whatever, The Matrix had already came out. And in The Matrix 1, 2, and 3... the robots they're called xenophobes. No, that's called an alien. They're called xenophobes or some shit like that. In the Alien movie, remember the movie Alien?
Yeah.
You haven't seen the movie where Prometheus and all that? But in the Matrix, the robots were breeding humans. Remember?
Something like that.
So I don't know, man. It's just all been. Like Nas says, it's all been written. I mean, if he wants to really talk, like he could just get on the Zoom call. You feel me?
Nah, I would have had to figure that one out. But you know, that's
you figured it out once.
But now that we're going live, I don't know how we'll do that.
Nah, you just going to do it, bro.
It's just crazy to see them like they literally split cells, like how a human cell would, type of thing. It's crazy.
See where that heads towards too,
you know. But you know what
I just came up with a random question now. Now imagine since they can reproduce. You said they self-reproduce, or they just reproduce in general?
Yeah, they just reproduce.
So imagine a human reproduces with a robot.
Man, we're getting closer to it, bro. Who knows, man? There's people out here marrying robots, marrying like plush dolls and all that stuff. So. Who knows, bro? We're trying to make it to the moon 2030 just to put a nuclear power plant on there. So who knows?
For real, bro. Who knows? Who's to say what's next, man? I mean, this Maxwell trial is crazy because just all this, like, rumors coming now. I mean, the coverage isn't as big as you thought it is, and it's child trafficking.
You know, it's not as big as it is, but at the same time, it's all over social media, which at the same time,
But it's because the story that you can't hide when they're saying it's like sex trafficking and all this stuff, like, I mean, there's accusers that are still alive. Like, it's kind of hard to cover this up when they're like, nah, bro, I see what y'all doing, you know?
Yeah, like today was day 3 of the trial, and it's continuing its cross-examination of an accuser, Jane Doe, as they're having it right now. Defense attorney Laura Menninger tried to trip up Jane by highlighting inconsistencies in statements she made at various times. Menninger noted things Jane has said in FBI interviews or in meetings with government prosecutors over the past couple of years, and then contrasted them with the testimony that Jane gave in the courtroom yesterday. Jane, who says she's a victim of sexual abuse perpetrated by Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, kept her composure amid the onslaught. The defense's aim was to poke holes in her credibility by suggesting her memory is faulty, but few of Menninger's gotchas landed. Does it really matter whether Jeffrey Epstein took Jane to see The Lion King on Broadway and prime mezzanine seats when she was 14? Like things like that they're trying to use little details, like, you know. And I also saw that during like opening statements, the Maxwell's defense team were saying that, you know, that the prosecutors are upset that they weren't able to really fully prosecute Epstein, and you know they're using Maxwell as a cover up for all of that. So they're trying to, you know, as any defense would, to prove their client's innocence, as you will.
Interesting that I heard the prosecutor's the same lady that said that Epstein's tape was not there when he died, his suicide tape.
I mean, but the prosecutor has nothing to do with that. At the end of the day, that's the people who, like, what was that, an FBI jail that they had him on?
Yeah, I'm looking for this Instagram real quick so I can read this article to you guys.
A really heartbreaking second day of the Maxwell trial today, as we heard from the first accuser of 4 women who will testify. This woman goes by the pseudonym Jane. She says she was only 14 years old when she was first approached at a summer camp by Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. That led to an invite to his home where Maxwell would train her on how to give massages to Epstein, and years of sexual abuse involving both Maxwell and Epstein in New Mexico, Florida, and his home in New York. She will continue her testimony tomorrow. Meanwhile, we heard more from the pilot today, who piloted the private jet that Maxwell and Epstein would take around the world. He said that he saw no evidence of misconduct over 30 years and 1,000 flights, said the cockpit door was typically closed, says that at some point he believes he met Jane, but she appeared to be an adult. And we also got today from him the first drop of major names that flew. Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, Bobby Kennedy Jr., though no accusations of misconduct by those guys. A really heartbreaking second day of the Maxwell trial.
This is a guy named Mosse, Mosheeh, on Instagram that I follow. He breaks down the trial day by day in a minute. So, you know, let's see what he says about day 3.
On the stand for Jane, one of 4 abuse victims who will be testifying against Maxwell. Though today, Jane, who's going by a pseudonym, by the way, to protect her acting career, had to face off against Ghislaine Maxwell's defense team. They cross-examined her and tried to poke holes in her story, and this is something they'll be doing to her and all 4 of the abuse victims. They said, listen, you suddenly remember that Maxwell was present at these abuse sessions, even though you told government investigators, according to notes a couple years ago, that your memory is foggy when it comes to Ghislaine Maxwell. Jane, for her part, said, honestly, memory is not linear. I'm remembering that now. And some of the things in these government notes, I didn't actually say. The defense, for their part, went on to say, well, you're also an actress. And you're being very melodramatic about what you think happened there. She said, in a quick reply, honestly, being one of his abuse victims was my least favorite role. The full day of testimony left her in tears at the end. One additional note, she said that at some point Epstein introduced her to both Prince Andrew and Donald Trump during a visit to Mar-a-Lago, though she did not accuse Andrew or Trump of any abuse. Today was day 2 on the
Interesting. Yeah, so that's something that's going on right now. That person, Jane, like as they said, she's going under a pseudonym to protect her career and whatnot. Basically, Jane Doe, yeah, as they will give them all these different names. What do you think about hearing these types of things, Enzo?
I don't know, man. You guys know what I say about all this shit. It's all connected. I mean, it's no coincidence that, like I said, the week that the other trial ends and it's like a big distraction, this one starts and it's not as covered as that one, and then certain people. I mean, I don't even want to go into the conspiracy theories because that's like a whole nother rabbit hole that I feel like I don't want to put a X on my back.
You don't want to visit. I feel you.
You feel me?
But, you know, we're following this case as it goes. I'm pretty sure day by day is gonna be coming out more and more.
Like everybody should try to keep up with it. For
definitely,
real.
No doubt.
Especially if you have kids.
Is it supposed to take like a month or something like that?
Hide your kids.
This case,
something like that. They still have 3 more people they have to interview as far as accusers of her, and I'm pretty sure at some point she might go on to testify. I don't think they actually will do that. Just unless they have something that they can put on the stand to testify for or against. But as of now, I don't think we'll see her. I'm just wondering if we're gonna, because there's a lot of other defendants that are put on this stuff too. So if we'll hear from them or from other potential witnesses, like other pilots, or there's talks of her having submarines. Who was the one operating those that transportation and things like that.
It's wild.
Yeah, and it's just crazy how we're hearing all these names like Prince Charles, Chris Tucker, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton. We've been hearing of these, but now it's
they're saying
court.
But they're saying that they didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Well, I mean, honestly, from back then, I had never heard anything about like Prince Charles for sure. But like Donald Trump and these guys, like even in the documentaries that came out, they just said, oh, they were at Mar-a-Lago. They were at these places where Epstein was at, but that misconduct was committed by those people.
But they weren't involved in it, basically.
Yeah, when it comes to that, the one that's part of the royal family, that's the one that is a little more that has been said to have been participating and to have been seen around underage girls and stuff like that on the island.
But that's what's interesting because, like, I mean, there's such a thing called grooming, and back then men would groom young ladies. I feel like it's something that started getting frowned upon in the early 2000s, and now we're in this stage, and it's not acceptable. But these men were doing this in the 80s and the 90s, as early as the 70s, the 60s. I'm sure 50s even. These people were taking advantage of women, and I mean, just remember a couple years ago, it was before all this. It was also priests were going on trial for shit like this. So. I don't know, man. We gotta pray for people. It's fucked up.
Yep, no doubt. But with that being said, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Byron.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Pasen buenas noches.
Puro de verga.
I love you guys. Till next time. Peace.